Okay, think we're live. Going to be the same format as the last few streams. Playing some Marvel Rivals comp while talking. Today, topics mainly probably going to be D23, since that was last night. It was last night, wasn't it? I got my days all confused. We got X-Men announcement for the whole cast, the Vision Quest trailer, some other cool stuff. So we'll mostly be talking about that, as well as that Lanterns is coming out tonight. I kind of want to talk a little bit about that, and just random whatever chat wants to talk about, we'll talk about. That was, if that's just me double checking the audio. Let's go throw this out on Twitter. Probably we'll stream it as long as the games go okay. If we're going the same as last time, where we have like three losses in a row, I might call it. But we'll see. Streaming, whoa. We are in Diamond now. I got into Diamond last night. I was on a streak of about 7 wins. And then I got into Diamond, played 1 game and lost. And now if I lose the next game, I'm out of Diamond. Hey, Deathstroke, thanks for hanging out. Ooh, how'd your concert go? The last stream didn't go on for super long anyway. We played 3 games, they all went terrible. And then I was like, I'm not doing this. There are a couple cool things Marvel related from today. Kevin Feige said that there's been 10 great X-Men movies and there could be 100 more. There's saga upon saga within those comics that haven't been told yet. That fills me with some faith that the MCU X-Men will not do 2 things that the Fox X-Men were obsessed with. One was Dark Phoenix. The Dark Phoenix saga, I got no problem with it, but we've already done it twice in the last 20 years. We don't need to do it again. In the live-action movies, that is. And the other thing is, I've got no problem with Wolverine. I think Hugh Jackman is a great Wolverine. I loved seeing him in Deadpool and Wolverine again. And it makes sense to me why he was the most popular part of the Fox stuff. But the Fox films at times felt less like X-Men films and more like Wolverine with some X-Men characters. And we had, a trilogy of solo Wolverine films. But the straight up X-Men films, sometimes outside of the past ones like First Class, Days of Future Past, stuff like that, they would feel like Wolverine films that happened to include the X-Men in it. And I'm hoping that the MCU won't do that. That the MCU will understand that there are a lot, like they can have Wolverine, but there are a lot of new paths and different paths to go down and characters to focus on that we haven't seen before. Based off the casting announcement, getting things like Mr. Sinister, we haven't seen that villain in an X-Men live action film. Rogue obviously is there, Cyclops is there, Emma Frost. Like Cyclops and Emma Frost, 2 characters that did not get a lot to do in the Fox stuff. I'd be looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. Storm as well. Storm was kind of an afterthought in the Fox X-Men stuff, so I'm really excited to see how they handle Storm in these films. Like, what are they going to give her to do? Like they did with Spider-Man and Fantastic Four. That's true. But with Spider-Man, I mean, in my opinion, there has not been a bad Spider-Man film. I know it might be a hot take considering you got like a lot of people don't like Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2. I think they're I don't think their story is great, but I think that Amazing Spider-Man 2 is one of the funnest and most comic booky Spider-Man films out there. Like, I think the MCU are getting Spider-Man right, but I also think that everyone has kind of gotten Spider-Man right, Did the trilogy come after the last time? Really? Wait, did like the Wolverine trilogy or the X-Men trilogy? I actually think the X-Men The Last Stand is underrated. I haven't seen Last Stand in a long time. I'm gonna rewatch it before Doomsday, obviously, but it's been a while since I've last seen that film. I need to recheck it out. Because I was not a big X-Men fan growing up. Like, I saw the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films in cinema. I saw the Fantastic Four, the 2000s Fantastic Four films in cinema. But I didn't really get locked into wanting to see the X-Men stuff until I think Apocalypse might have been the first X-Men related film I saw in... Jesus, this is going bad. That I saw in cinemas. And when I watched them, I liked them, but I wasn't a big fan of the original 2000s trilogy, so X-Men, X-Men 2, and The Last Stand. I wasn't a huge fan of them. I thought they were fine, but like out of like the 2000s comic book stuff, I thought, you know, the Tobey Maguire films and the Dark Knight Rises trilogy were better and more enjoyable things. I don't like how disjointed everything felt. The Wolverine films were great. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the big problems with the Fox X-Men stuff. It felt like they didn't really know what they wanted to do a lot of the time. They were changing the timeline so much, you know, and they were always so confusing about it. Like, they never really made it clear whether the end of Days of Future Past timeline was the same timeline as Logan, or whether it was its own thing. They never really made it clear if, like, Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, those films were actually leading into the original 2000s X-Men stuff, or if they were leading into a new timeline. It was always very confusing. And then even Deadpool, I know his whole thing is breaking the fourth wall, but you had stuff in the first two Deadpool films where he would be like, you know, making references to which version of Professor X am I going to see, and, you know, we'd have cameos for the prequel cast and stuff like that. They did make it very confusing. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with the X-Men stuff, because, you know, like, there are thousands of X-Men comics. X-Men in the Marvel Comics is essentially its own universe, you know? Like, if you wanted to, you could have it be DC, Marvel, and the X-Men. There's so much to do with the X-Men that they really can be that big. So I think it's likely that the future of the MCU is predominantly X-Men stuff, with every now and then we get a different character showing up for a film or something. You know, like a recast Captain America, a recast Iron Man, stuff like that, as Miles Morales, Spider-Man. But that, you know, the big films you're going to be seeing, like the big event films, will be they're going to be, that fucking Namor, man, he just would not die. They're going to be X-Men related. Like, they're already talking about doing X-Men versus Avengers. I think that would be a really cool first event for the X-Men, but I think after that, you know, it's going to be less that the Avengers films are event films and more like the X-Men films are event films, you know? They're definitely stuck in the past. You know, with the roster of characters you have at your disposal in an X-Men franchise, the Fox stuff really did not seem too keen to branch out, let new characters become a thing. Because, you know, when you get to the prequel stuff, they're using the same roster of characters that are in 2000 stuff, and you'd wonder why. Kevin Feige will cook with X-Men like he always wanted to. Yeah, it does feel like sometimes with Kevin Feige that, like, as much as he loves Marvel, his end goal was always get to the X-Men. You know, his end goal was always somehow get the X-Men involved. That, you know, he likes playing with Iron Man and the Avengers and Spider-Man and Fantastic Four and all that sort of stuff, but he always wanted the X-Men involved, and now he's getting them involved. So it'll be cool to see what they do. I think an updated modern take on the X-Men will be really cool. You know, one set in modern day, because we haven't had a modern day X-Men film since the Last Stand. That was 20 years ago. Oh, I thought my team was with me. They are not. Ooh. But yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff at D23. Imagine if Marvel had all their rights back from the beginning. That would have been cool. But the MCU will deliver as this. On this now, we can see them be integrated with other Marvel characters. See, I'm in two minds of that, right? Because I think, yeah, sure, it would have been cool if we had an MCU that had like Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four and the X-Men all from day one. But I think it forced Kevin Feige and the Marvel people to be way more creative with what they were doing, because they didn't have the rights to half their characters. So they had to make movies like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Incredible Hulk. Not to say that these weren't popular characters already. They weren't as popular as Spider-Man the X-Men, but they were still popular characters. But it forced them to make these kind of films and be creative and put quality first, because they didn't have all their toys. Because I like to compare this to DC. DC has all their toys. They have their Batman, they have their Superman, they have everything in their universe at their disposal. And they can't get a cinematic universe off the ground properly because they're struggling to be creative enough. I think if DC somehow lost the rights to Batman, you know, say fucking Netflix had Batman while damn it, I could get out of that. Say Netflix had Batman while DC had everyone else. It would force... Damn it, man. It would force WB to be creative. Oh, thanks guy. That was a guy I played with the other day who was texting in the Marvel Rivals chat saying I got into Diamond. I'm about to not be in Diamond, but thank you. Yeah, it would force DC to be creative if they didn't have Batman, so they couldn't use Batman as a leg to stand on every time things are going bad for them. Never seen Marvel as enjoyable as you do. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, man. Where my team? Where my team? Thank you. In the long term, it's better for like Phase 5, 6 so they wait till I use some of these big guns. I agree. I heard a rumor a while back that... I don't know how true this is, but I really like this idea. Is that the reason why the MCU is the sacred timeline and is the timeline that's like ending up being one of the last places for an incursion to take place is because it's like an experimental universe, essentially. It's a universe that doesn't have, you know, like Spider-Man from day one. It's a universe that doesn't have the Fantastic Four in it. It's a universe that didn't have mutants and the X-Men in it for ages. Whereas every other Marvel universe has the X-Men and all this sort of stuff from day one, and then that's why the MCU is the sacred timeline. And I think it's pretty cool. James Gunn wouldn't mind it that much, not to say he is Batman in the first place. He does, and that is true. But Creature Commandos used a lot of Batman references. Clayface is going to be the third DCU film, and I'm actually going to turn off chat because I feel like I forgot to do that, and I feel like people might say bad stuff, and I don't want that on stream. Clayface's third film, that's based on a Batman villain. It's obviously not as big deal for Gunn, but he's still using stuff like Gotham City, Batman references, Batman villains. Harley Quinn, for example, a huge part of his Suicide Squad stuff. Like, he loves Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. You know, there's still little elements of Batman stuff that if DC didn't have Batman at its disposal, they wouldn't be able to use. And it would force them to be a little more creative, in my opinion, if they weren't pumping out things like a Joker film or a Clayface film and stuff like that. Like, no other DC hero is going to see its villains get made into solo films like Batman is, but I think it would be really cool to get, like, you know, a Brainiac film or a Captain Cold film or a Reverse Flash film, but we're never going to see that because DC's never going to take the chance because Batman's their golden goose. That's what the Arborist did? It absolutely is. Which I think, again, is what made early Arborist so successful, is that they didn't have a lot of this stuff to rely on. They had to be creative. They had to take chances with characters like Green Arrow and stuff like that. And then they finally were allowed to do Flash, which was a big deal for them because they were like, yes, we finally get to use a character like this. But they had to work for it, you know, they weren't allowed to make Flash until they proved they could make Arrow. That Namor is fucking up. Going towards there are little to no Batman references in Clayface. That's fair, but it's still, you know, even if there's no Batman references, it's still a Batman character, it's still a Batman villain, it's still set in Gotham City. Like, there might not be Batman references, but it all still stems from Batman. You know, like, how much cooler, like, I'm not saying Clayface is going to be a bad film, but how much cooler would it be if DC had to take a chance on a different hero's villain? Capcom movie would be cold, yeah, it absolutely would be. Like, imagine a Flash Rogues heist film, where the Flash isn't in it, but it's like all the rogues coming together, led by Captain Cole, and they're putting together like the perfect heist or something. You know, like an Ocean's 11 type thing or something like that. Like, I'm not saying the MCU ever made chances like this, because they absolutely didn't. But DC can be more creative than they are. Like, we heard recently that DC passed on a pitch for a Catwoman show and a Poison Ivy show. A lot of people were annoyed about that. I'm not saying these were going to be bad projects, but I personally am happy they passed on them because it's more Batman-related stuff, and the DC universe is so wide, we don't have to always be jumping back to Batman. Why are my team always getting pushed back? I'm not dying. Frustrating. I hope we don't end up in Diamond, but we might. Or in Platinum again, but we might. Power merge with WB, we may see DC shift focus into pushing films with more popular characters. That may be the reason is they are cancelling so many projects. Yeah, I think that's probably why DC's not announcing a lot of stuff at the moment. Or we're not getting updates on projects anymore, the way James Gunn used to. James Gunn used to be giving out updates to the projects he announced constantly, and now he's not. Now we're getting reports that projects are being cancelled, but James Gunn isn't coming out to dispute it or to give updates on projects that aren't cancelled, and I think that's because everyone at Warner Bros. Is pretty much in standby mode. Anything that's not currently filming is being paused until the merger happens, so that they can see what happens. David just spoke me a little bit, like they are one cinematic universe have all their stuff in the very beginning, and they're still gonna make decisions. No, I completely agree. You know, James Gunn's universe feels like, as much as I like it, it feels like they only have the rights to Superman and then random C-tier villains that nobody knows about. It's very funny. Like, it might sound like I'm advocating for DC not to use its big characters, but that's not true, because I think you absolutely, in a universe like this, need to have your big characters on the screen first and bring them out. Like, we should have had a Superman film to start off with, but then we definitely should have followed it up with a Batman project and then followed that up with a Wonder Woman project. You know, and not to have it be like a Batman v Superman situation, but there needed to be these big characters on the screen quickly, rather than, you know, Supergirl was an okay. I think Supergirl should have been better for a lot of people, but I think Supergirl was an okay project to follow up with. I think Lanterns is a good project to follow up with, but things like Clayface and a Jimmy Olsen show and Creature Commandos and Peacemaker Season 2, these are not projects that should be in your first phase of your cinematic universe, you know? There's stuff you do when you have way more leniency. Transformers team up with Superman. Hey, I'm excited for the Star Trek film that has the crew of the Enterprise investigate Krypton and the destruction of Krypton. I also do think we need to be prepared for what happens if these mergers don't happen, though. You know, because it's not a sure thing that Paramount's going to get WB. if Paramount doesn't get it, it's also not a sure thing that Netflix will get it. It's possible Netflix is just pissed off at Warner Bros. Now and doesn't want to deal with them anymore. And if that happens and Warner Bros. Are broke as fuck, we're probably seeing a situation like what happened in the 90s with Marvel when they went bankrupt and Warner Bros. Has to sell off the rights to characters. I could see them keeping Batman for themselves, but then like selling off the rights to like Superman or The Flash or something like that. And I mean, as shitty as that would be, it might force these studios to do really cool things with these characters, and then 20 years from now we get to see these characters finally come back and everybody's actually taking shit seriously because they have them back finally. Why are all my team just hanging back there? The Batman Part 2 messed things up. Yeah, I think that's probably why you know, Brave and the Bold got completely stalled, is because Warner Bros. Are still in that mindset of we are not having two Batman related films on the big screen at the same time. Like, we're not having competing Batman, we're not having competing Superman, we're not having competing Spider-Man, same thing Marvel does. And I don't think they should have cancelled the Batman Part 2, because Batman Part 1 is one of the best comic book films of the last, Jesus Christ, and I was doing one on the point again, great. Which doesn't happen, but this deal will move forward as lots of different countries have approved the merger. That's true, but every time they almost get through with it, they don't. Something stops it. And I wouldn't be surprised if something keeps stopping it. To the point where both parties or one party just gives up on the whole thing. I still think Paramount is the worst case scenario to own DC. Aren't they currently getting like millions per day with this deal not going through? Yeah, that is true as well. Nah, we lost. Damn, man. We almost won. Yeah, they're making like 7 million a day or something. I saw the execs are making, which is ridiculous. Like, yeah, they're probably pretty okay to sit back and wait. But I don't know, like, countries are allowing it. I think the UK finally allowed it, but they were causing a stink about it for months. And oh, we might actually still be in. No, we're in plat. I thought we somebody made it. He didn't fight for his life, just guys grubby hands on the company. Yeah, we'll see. I do still think Paramount's the worst option for owning Warner Bros. I think they are gonna run everything into the ground. Like they're handling Star Trek terribly. They don't do well with established IP and established franchises. So, I don't know, not to say Netflix will be better, because as much as Netflix tries to make it seem like they do care about the theatrical experience, they still aren't nearly as on board with films getting long cinema dates compared to any of the other studios. Paramount doesn't have that kind of money. They barely have the money to make them. No, that's true as well. Like, Star Trek shows are being cancelled left, right, and center because they don't have the money to make them. And Star Trek's one of their main franchises. If they can't afford to keep Star Trek going properly, then how are they going to afford to make DC run properly when Warner Bros. Already can barely afford to keep them going? Like, it'll be low budget Batmans and Supermans and nothing else. It'll be horrible. Like, I know a lot of people, especially on Twitter and Reddit, are convinced the DCU will be fine. But I think the last few months of constant projects being cancelled and constant projects entering development hell, and there being no word on anything coming after Man of Tomorrow, which is in less than a year, I do think that Warner Bros. Is already getting a little worried about the viability of the DCU, and I think it's pretty likely that that Paramount just completely guts the DCU and does their own thing. Like, they're going to want to start from scratch. Like, nowhere is going to bring in an already established universe and not want to make changes to it, you know? They did just announce their new Willy Wonka movie will have a 45-day theater window, which I'm pretty sure is the first time they've done something like that. So it looks like they're trying. It is Netflix. I do think they're getting better. I do think Netflix from today and Netflix from like 2020 are in different minds about putting films in cinemas. But I do still think like their cinema window is still nowhere near what it should be compared to like any other studio in any other place, which is really frustrating. Like, Netflix puts out films that absolutely should be in cinemas, and they give them like a limited 3-day opening or something. Plus, Netflix, when they release films in cinemas, it's sometimes a US-centric thing, because like Knives Out, Glass Onion, when that came out, it was pretty much only in like the artsy cinemas in Ireland. Like, it wasn't in like the big cinemas that are in every town and every city. You had to go searching to find it. And that's why I'd be worried about Netflix and DC films, because it might be the kind of thing where some cinemas in Ireland have it, but you have to go looking for them, compared to now if WB releases a Superman or a superhero, it's in every cinema. There is any possibility where Universal comes in and purchases WB if Paramount fails, because that would be beautiful. I don't know if Universal really cares, to be honest. I know that they at one point put their hand in the ring for it, or put their hat in the ring for it, same as Apple, but I don't think they're too fussed either way. I think they're happy to just kind of sit back and do whatever, because I don't think Paramount or Warner Bros. Are happy at the worldwide, the worldwide eyes that are on them about this merger. You know, like when European countries are getting involved, trying to deny it, trying to let it go through and stuff like that. I don't think Paramount or Warner Bros. Are particularly happy that that's happening. I think Universal is pretty happy to just sit back and not have to worry about that, and know that they're not pissing off countries around the world. Ooh. People keep trying to blame Gunn for My Adventures with Superman. Is that what that means? Not being renewed, but I'm pretty sure they aren't renewing much right now until Paramount. Yeah, I would personally think My Adventures with Superman is safe, because we're getting My Adventures with Green Lantern. I think that shows that they've got a little bit of faith in that universe, and they want that universe to keep going. Plus, it's easier for them to make animated stuff. I would say out of everything in DC, the animated stuff is probably much safer than that. Like, Gunn said he wants to keep doing Creature Commandos, and we're getting Mr. Miracle. We're probably getting Cape Crusader Season 3. Universe is best. I do. WB just stay WB. I did see that the Universal like kind of immediately stopped trying once the money got a certain way. Like, Apple has the money, but I think even they were like, we're not paying that much for Warner Bros. Like, what the fuck would we get out of that? Yeah, Universal seems like not the smaller of the big studios, but the one who's probably a little bit more money conscious than the rest of them. You know, that they like to save their money and invest in stuff when they think it needs to be invested in. Where's that Jeff going? I want that Jeff. I want that shark. I like to make the healers scared of me by just constantly being on their asses. That was the worst possible way for that HUD to go. He should have went away from the point and not towards it. Apple would be sick though. Oh no, I've been saying for a long time that for quality reasons, Apple would probably be the absolute best place for DC to end up. Like, I've been saying that if worse comes to worse and WB has to start selling their IPs, I would love Apple to get Superman. Like, not that I want them to lose all their characters and to go to separate places, but if that starts happening, I'd love for them to have Superman. I'd love to see what they would do with a proper Superman project. Remember the Apple TV Batman show? But that's the thing. That would do so well, and it would be good. I don't think I've seen a bad Apple Plus show. And I've seen most of them at this point, and I don't think there's been a single bad one. Some of them aren't great. Some of them are the best TVs or the best shows on TV right now. Like, I'm watching Lucky at the moment, Anya Taylor-Joy and Timothy Olyphant, and I'm not loving it. It's not great, but it's still really solid TV. Same with like the Cape Fear miniseries from a few weeks ago. Not great, but still solid TV. Then Widow's Bay was out a few months ago with Matthew Rhys and Stephen Root, and that was one of the best shows of the year. And it came out of nowhere. Salzov did mention on one occasion that he would rather Comcast over Paramount to purchase WB. I think he's friends with the head of Comcast Universal. I can't remember. Ted Lasso for the Justice League. Ted Lasso teaches the Justice League members how to play proper football. Sorry, Americans, but your football isn't proper football. It's not called soccer. I don't care what you call it. It's not called soccer. Sorry, that's my rant over. Ted Lasso this week was really good. I liked the new episode a lot more than the first episode. I think it could be good once we get to know the new team a little bit more and find out what they're doing. And this week's episode was still kind of like a little bit of a teaser for what the season's going to be, because Ted isn't really coaching yet. It was more so him just figuring out how everything is. Who would I kill? Damn, I was hoping that was the Jeff I got. This Venom man, he just refuses to die. What would have been cool, Deathstroke? This. Oh, I thought I could get that Jubilee. Hi, Jeff. Remember me? That Venom man. He's never not on the team. Thank you. Nice, good job on that ammo. Oh. Damn, I couldn't tell where he was. Second to the spawn. Yeah, that's not good. What is he doing? Did he not want to kill us? He could have put us in his spawn. Maybe Jeff is a good guy. Maybe he didn't want to kill us there. I do still need to kill him though. Oh shit, we might have to go to overtime. I thought we were way better than overtime. No, we should be good, we shouldn't need it. Ooh, they have a puncher now. Nice, good job, gang. No, you're right, as an American, calling football a game where you mainly use your hands is stupid. Yeah, I saw a tweet one point that was like, football and American football should be called hand egg, which to be fair, nobody would play a game called hand egg, but I do think it's funny. In a perfect world where Universal acquires Warner Bros., we could see the Hulk rights revert to Marvel and have Universal add DC to their theme parks, while Disney has all their Marvel characters. So Universal theme parks will be for DC and Disney theme parks will be for Marvel. The only reason why I don't think that's cool, and is just, you know, a European thing, there's like a there's like a 1% chance that I will ever be in a Universal theme park or such. You know, they're hard to get to when you're in somewhere like Ireland. The only place close enough for even a Disney one is Disney World Paris, which I was in at one point, back in 2014, I think it was, and that's like the closest thing. But like Universal, Warner Bros, Disney theme parks, they're all like American, Australian places. Like there's the big Warner Bros movie world in Australia that apparently is great. But yeah, they're not a thing that I would like ever be excited for, because I know the chance of me ever actually getting to one is not high at all. But I'm happy for the people who can go there and experience them. Yeah, I think Ted Lasso has been solid. I feel like they're in a very similar situation to the first season, where it'll take them a couple episodes to find their footing, so I'm allowing them to have that. Yeah, I agree, because the when Ted Lasso first came out, I remember the initial reviews for the first 3 episodes where people being like, what the hell is this? This isn't very good. Like, this is fine, but what is this? And now Ted Lasso is one of the more talked about shows of the 2020s. Like, everybody seems to like it. Where my team at? Like, even though people have problems with seasons 2 and 3, generally, most people think it's a very good show. What's that Groot doing? He was just vibing. Want that Jeff? Nice. Thoughts on Vision Quest trailer? One of the best Marvel trailers in a minute. I really liked the Vision Quest trailer. I thought that it gave a really good idea what the kind of tone of the show is going to be. Oh no, Groot, no, you fucked me. He trapped me. He trapped me in there. Yeah, the Vision Quest trailer was cool. Liked seeing Edwin Jarvis briefly again. Liked seeing James Spader again as Ultron. I think it's going to be a really enjoyable series. I think it's going to be fun. I liked how they're committing now to it being a trilogy of WandaVision related projects, because they said it's the final of the trilogy, which is cool and all, but I'm never going to stop saying that it should have been like an anthology series, like a 3-season anthology series, where WandaVision was season 1, Agatha All Along was season 2, and now Vision Quest was the final season. But I liked it a lot. Can't wait to see it. And you know what? There's something very meta about that. People underestimating Ted is like the entire point. Yeah, I could for sure see that. Fuck, I have my ult. I should have used that. Just you board a plane to head to Universal. I live in the Caribbean, so I travel there by plane. Yeah, I mean, it'd cost me like €2,000 to get a plane and go to Universal. Because the Caribbean is still much closer to where Universal would be than Ireland, right? Like it'd be a little easier for you guys to get there than it would be for me. Like, not that I couldn't go there at some point, but it's like, you know, it's not something that's on my priorities list. God, they absolutely bullied their way into this. Jeff, I want you. Where my team at, please? Damn it. You didn't see Clark Gregg in the trailer? He was in there. He was the guy with the Ultron mask. Did you not see him? And then he came out and he said, "Hi guys, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon." And then everybody clapped. That was in the trailer. Oh my god. Every time I jump in here, I hope my team is going to join me, and they never do. And that's okay. They don't have to. But I wish that they would. Alright, alright, alright. We're getting out of here. We're getting out of here. I need some heals. Woo! I Black Widow. If only that was in the trailer. It was in the trailer. That happened. He said, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon. Everybody go check it out on Disney+. And I'll see you guys for our 8th season coming next October to Disney+. Well, it's weird. We didn't really get anything else at D23. I know that they showed some concept art for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2. One thing that did surprise me is that they said it's coming in 2027. I was convinced that that was meant to be this year. I thought originally that was meant to be like summer this year, and then it got pushed to late this year. And now it's not. No, now it's next year. Which, fair enough. I don't know why it's next year. Like, they just need more time to make it. Maybe the animations, they need more time to finish it. I don't think we got anything else, really. There was nothing said about Daredevil Born Again Season 3, which I know a lot of people are worried now that that means that it's not continuing past Season 3. Something I talked about in the last stream, perhaps, maybe it was the stream beforehand. Just saying that Born Again Season 3 was probably the last, because Disney are moving away from the Disney Plus related television series. That would suck if it ended at Season 3. Not because I, want the show to go on forever or anything, but I still think Season 1 doesn't really count as a good season of Daredevil. They had so much going against them that season that they only really started to find their footing in Season 2, and they still had a lot of, slight growing pains with Season 2 that I assumed were going to get completely hammered out in Season 3, so that Season 3 could be the Daredevil show we kind of always wanted it to be. And then I was hoping, Season 4, we could get a few seasons of it being like that. But, I don't know. The In Real Life Independent made an article talk about how the new season Ted Lasso sucks, and it's one of the funny things it was like it was canon to the show. That is pretty funny. I don't know what that Groot team up is where he ends up in a bubble and floats away, because he's done that a few times this game, and I feel like I've never seen anybody do that. I think the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon is underrated. I really love that cartoon and don't understand the hate. I don't think I've ever seen a whole lot of Ultimate Spider-Man. I definitely saw some of it, but I don't think I saw a crazy amount of it. I need to, I do need to go back and revisit all those Marvel cartoons I never really got a chance to watch. And think about it, when would it come out? Vision Quest starts in October, that's when you probably go through November, and then you have Doomsday in December. I think January kind of makes sense. That's true, but I think, they would have known about this a while ago, that this was how the release dates for this year were probably working out. They would have known when they said the season was going to be, oh, we won. When they said the season was going to be 2026, they knew that they were likely having Vision Quest end of October 2026, and they were having Doomsday in December, and they were having X-Men 97 in the summer. I think that probably something in the production's not going completely according to plan, and they need a little bit of time to work that out, and then that's why it's going to be 2027 now. Deadpool even appears. That is pretty cool. Yeah, I gotta check out all this stuff. So I need to go back and finish X-Men the animated series. Need to do Spider-Man the animated series. Need to do the Silver Surfer and Fantastic Four 90 series, that Avengers one from 1999, I think. Then Ultimate Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, the one that was meant to be in the Tobey Maguire universe from 2003. Or was that like the new Spider-Man or something? And then like the other X-Men stuff, like Wolverine and the X-Men, Hulk and the Agents of Smash, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. There's a lot of DC or Marvel anime stuff, sorry, that I've missed out on. DC I'm different on. DC I've seen pretty much everything related to DC. Even if I've never finished things like Batman the Animated Series or Superman the Animated Series, I've seen enough of the shows to know.
Which hero do you think you want to be today?
Freedom's an idea that will never die.
Ultimate is fun. It unfortunately has the unfortunate honor of coming after Spectacular Spider-Man, which is arguably one of the greatest seasons of comic book television. Yeah, that's one I also really want to check out.
Banished from this match.
Is that the one that ends with or like delves heavily into Spider-Verse stuff? I know one of the animated Spider-Man shows really digs into Spider-Verse stuff. I know that the 90s animated series ends with Spider-Verse stuff, and that's the first time the Spider-Verse stuff was ever done in animation, or in Spider-Man in anything. But I don't think that's what I'm thinking of. I know one of them does like a proper Spider-Verse thing. Earth's Mightiest Heroes is also like peak Marvel. Is Earth's Mightiest Heroes the one that does Secret Invasion? And does it like 10 times better than the MCU series? It is a little upsetting that we're kind of reaching the end of the Marvel Disney Plus era. Because I don't know. I know a lot of the shows were just fine, not great. But I enjoyed getting these little looks into the Marvel universe in a bigger way, and getting to see, well, we've got 3 champs on our team. That's crazy. Okay, yeah, I'm probably thinking of Ultimate then with the Spider-Verse stuff. Honestly, if the Disney Plus stuff kind of like television-wise comes to an end, we're probably not seeing Moon Knight again. We're probably not seeing She-Hulk again. There are a couple characters they introduced during this era that I think could be gone for good. Which is unfortunate. It is a little depressing. Alright, we win this, we should be back in Diamond, which would be great.
Just like the first time we went after Hydra. Hope it goes better than that.
Their Secret Invasion was so peak, that's how I was introduced to that storyline. Honestly, there was probably no way that the MCU was ever going to beat that. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people say that Earth's Mightiest Heroes Secret Invasion and then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.'s LMD arc are together 10 times better than the MCU Secret Invasion.
All you need to do is capture the mission area.
I don't know, man. I don't think we're seeing Moon Knight or She-Hulk in the films either. She-Hulk, because the actress has been very vocal about things that Disney doesn't like to talk about, basically. And it is similar to Mark Ruffalo, but you know, Mark Ruffalo's the Hulk is such a important Marvel character, they can't really do anything about that. But I think I could see She-Hulk never showing up again. And then Moon Knight, I think he's just a very difficult character for them to do properly in a movie. Thank you. Damn. Peacemaker even did a better Secret Invasion. That's true as well. I did notice that when I was rewatching Peacemaker last summer. That I was like, oh, this is kind of Secret Invasion-y. This is kind of good. I wonder if we're ever getting that like Waller Checkmate show now that Waller has pretty much been shelved. And with no word on Peacemaker Season 3. Because I feel like, you know, Gunn probably does not have the leverage that he had pre-Superman. Or even just post-Superman. I feel like Supergirl, the reception both critically and financially to that has a... Thank you. Has kind of made it harder for Warner Bros. To allow him to do a lot of those smaller projects, like Peacemaker. They're doing a Ghost Rider film and probably Blade in future. Oh, I don't think we're getting Blade. I think the bad press, and especially with Mahershala Ali coming out and actually bad-mouthing Marvel, saying they were the reason it didn't get made, I think Feige is likely going to wash his hands of Blade and hope everybody forgets that at one point Blade was announced. I would be shocked if we got a Blade film anytime in the next like 15 years. I don't know about Midnight Suns either, because that's been a project that that leakers have said is happening since long before even like Endgame came out, and it never has. Like, I'll believe Midnight Suns exists when Marvel actually announces it, but I don't think they're going to. Where my team at? Please heal me. Thank you. I'll say Fringe is a pretty great Secret Invasion, but I'll say that when you see it. The reports suggest that Blade will be the front runner for the Midnight Suns film. Yeah, but they've, like, I'm telling you, man, I've been in the Marvel leaks and scoopers circles since like 2018, 2019. One of the things that the leakers have always said is that, oh, Midnight Suns is going to be announced in the next few years, and this is who's going to be in it. And it never is announced. Marvel never confirms it. Marvel never says anything about it. I think it's just one of those low-hanging fruit projects that scoopers always know that they can say is happening someday, because maybe Marvel will eventually make it, and when they do make it, they can say they were always right. Jeez, we just about survived that. Nice. I might have not died yet. Oh, I actually thought I died a few times. That shows how much I've been thinking. Because, like, even before, like, phase 4 or 5 of the MCU was happening, I saw people say, like, yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange is coming back for it. John Bernthal's The Punisher is going to be folded into the MCU movies from the Daredevil series, and he's going to be in it. They're like, they're going to introduce Moon Knight and Blade in it. Oh, this might have been a mistake. Like, I would love to see a Midnight Suns thing. I really would. I've heard about it so many times at this point. I don't believe it till I see it. Yeah, I agree that, like, if they're doing Ghost Rider, they are doing Mephisto, they've already done Mephisto, that they could definitely make it happen. Like, they do have all the characters, they don't really need to set up a lot of stuff. It would make sense. And we're probably not going to hear about it for a while, because I don't think Marvel's too keen on announcing a whole lot of projects until after Secret Wars comes out. And it would also make sense for Marvel to go more supernatural, witchy in the... Is he saluting at me? The Bucky's saluting to me. I'm just going to sit and watch him sit. Oh, he said I want you. He did that. I do? What is going on? This Bucky is the coolest fucking guy. Oh. He was doing something there that he shouldn't have been doing. More of a Ghost Rider sequel sort of idea. Yeah, for sure. I could see that. I just am curious, like, what they're gonna do with Ghost Rider. My friend just texted me on Marvel Rivals. The bookie was in fact saluting Amy. I did not know that you were watching. Oh, I'm dead. I got distracted. Sorry. But yeah, the I think I don't know what they're gonna do with Ghost Rider because like Agents of Shield was Robbie Reyes as Ghost Rider, but they heavily alluded to the fact that it was Johnny Blaze's Ghost Rider that gave that passed on the rider to. Oh, he's gonna kill me. I passed on the rider to Robbie. So like when the MCU comes in, presumably Ryan Gosling is playing Johnny Blaze. You know, are they gonna pretend that, like it's gonna be a Secret Wars thing where everything's rebooted? But are they gonna say the MCU somehow does not reboot post Secret Wars? Then are they gonna say that there was already a Johnny Blaze or what? Obviously not, because it's not like Feige gives a shit what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did or didn't do. Every time he hears Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did something that relates to Marvel canon, he's like, these fucking guys, I really wish that they would stop fucking with my universe. Where'd that magic go? There we go. They even tried with Nick Cage and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. Like that was supposed to be Nicolas Cage's Johnny Blaze passing on the rider to Robbie Reyes. So like, that's one of the funniest things that I know a lot of people don't realize is that the Nick Cage Ghost Rider films are technically canon to the MCU. The same way that like Ang Lee's The Hulk film is technically canon because there's a few snippets from that film that is in like the opening montage of The Incredible Hulk. And people don't realize that. I said after Vision Quest, there's no help with any Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. cameos or connections, but I have Ghost Rider. Yeah, every time there's something else. I don't know. I think as soon as Miss Marvel made no mention of anything Inhuman related, it was kind of over for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. Yo, because if there was ever a moment for there to be an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reference, it was having Miss Marvel be an Inhuman. But now she's a mutant, they're never going to address Inhumans. To Kevin Feige, Inhumans were taken out back, shot, and ran over with a car. Almost got hit by that. Oh my god. Jesus, okay. Alright. Those films are canon. We need answers to how he reverted back to base form after his flame turned blue. Yeah. I haven't seen Spirit of Vengeance in a long time. I've seen the first one a few times. I've got pretty good memories of the first one, but the Spirit of Vengeance I have such a bad memory on. Secret Invasion 2, yeah. I mean, yeah, that was a perfect time to introduce characters like Daisy Johnson. It would have been easy as well. Like, you don't even have to say that they're from anything. You just be like, oh, Fury has some old S.H.I.E.L.D. friends. Here they are. You know, bring in Daisy, bring in Mac, bring in Yo-Yo. And be like, yeah, they're powered. Don't say they're Inhuman or anything like that. Just say, like, they've got powers. They're probably going to TP. They are going to TP. Look at that. Look at that. On cue. What a fucking surprise. Nice. Yeah, we did. We killed all of them. See, the TP either works great, or when you put it like that and you just let them funnel themselves out one at a time, they're really easy to kill. Thank God they didn't do it, to be honest. I prefer the first film more. That film had more meaning and actually had Johnny make peace with the writer in the film. Yeah, I definitely preferred the first one over Spirit of Vengeance. Alright, we should be back in Diamond, hopefully. Sometimes I do miss the era of the 2000s. We are in Diamond. When we'd get stuff like Blade, Ghost Rider, stuff like that that were able to stand on their own. that weren't connected to like a major already established hero. Alright. Cue this diamond match being the absolute worst game I've ever played in my life. Because it probably will be. I can't see how it isn't. Spider-Man Brand New Day is it's making a lot of money. It could end up being one of the... It could end up being like the biggest, highest grossing film of all time, honestly. There's no joke about that at this point. Like, it's... Never let anybody say Spider-Man isn't the most popular fictional character of all time, because he absolutely is. Like, he kind of... It trumps every other fictional character at this point, especially comic book ones.
Freedom's an idea that will never die.
No, I agree. Some of those films are really good. I think the Blade trilogy, I think all three of them are really solid, really enjoyable films. They deserve some love. Connor, how do you feel that a cast member of a CW DC TV show is about to be one of the biggest characters in the MCU? I was literally talking to one of my friends earlier about this because he's watching Obsession for the first time today, and he always does this thing where when Millie Alcock became Supergirl, you know, he'd like rage bait me and go, well, you knew him from House of the Dragon, but I knew him from this really small indie film from a few years ago. Or you knew her, sorry, from House of the Dragon, but I knew her from this really small indie film from a few years ago. And I'd be like, all right, good for you. And I always watched Obsession, and he's like, oh, she's going to be Rogue in the MCU. And I'm like, well, I knew her from Superman and Lois seasons 1 through 4. Like, it is insane that a character from that, even going further back, I think I saw her in 13 Reasons Why, like 2 years before Superman and Lois season 1 came out. But it is crazy. Like, I never in a million years when watching Superman and Lois thought that that Sarah was going to be fucking Rogue in the X-Men MCU film in 2028. Like, that's insane. Spider-Man's a perfect trilogy, and thanks to Tom, he really is Spider-Man. Well, perfect is a... I like Spider-Man 3. I think it's a very fun and enjoyable film. I would absolutely watch Spider-Man 3 any day of the week over most other films. But I don't think it's a perfect film by any means. Like, yeah. But yeah, it's crazy about Rogue. See, the thing is, right, I think she's a great actress. I think she's great in everything I've seen her in. I don't think Superman and Lois gave her the best writing a lot of the time, but I think she did the best she could with the material that Superman and Lois gave her. Unfortunately, as good as Superman and Lois was, I do feel like the Cushings always got the blunt end of the stick when it came to the writing, and they were always given the worst writing, and they were always given the worst story points and stuff like that, compared to like what the Kents would get or what the Irons would get or something like that. But I'm having a hard time seeing her as Rogue. I think she could do a really good job. And I'm excited to see her when she likely debuts in X-Men. I doubt she's shown up in a project before that. But I'm really intrigued to see what she does. And I'm intrigued to see if we get a Gambit in the MCU. That is in Channing Tatum. And how she pairs with him. Yeah, she probably is the most successful post-Arbor's actor. I appreciate Darren's agenda of still calling Superman and Lois an Arbor's show. I mean, I do as well, don't worry. But it's funny because, like, that riles a lot of the Superman and Lois only fans up when you call it an Arbor's series. They're like, no, it's not an Arbor's series, it's so much better than the Arbor's. Like, yeah, a lot of the time it was much better than anything else in the Arbor's. It still came from the Arbor's, whether you like it or not. Where's that Bruce Banner gone? There he is. Oh god, he just won't die. Fair enough, good for him. I do still need to rewatch the Arbor's at some point soon. I still feel pretty fresh on Superman and Lois because season 4 was only 2 years ago this December. Which it feels like it was a lot longer away, but I still feel like I I remember that whole show really well. In terms of the fact that the films are sustainable, sorry, I didn't suffer the same fate as he made in Spider-Man the Raimi trilogy. Oh, I'm so sorry. You were talking about the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. I went on a rant about Spider-Man 3 being really good, but not great. I thought you were talking about Tobey Maguire. No, I agree. I agree that Tom's trilogy is really good. And Brand New Day is, in my opinion, the best of his stuff. Like, I would actually say Brand New Day is my favorite Spider-Man film. I do think it's 100% due to the obsession performance. Like, Rogue's character needs to take on these alternate personalities, and I think that maybe showed. That's exactly what she can do. Yeah, sure, for sure. I mean, yeah, like she didn't blow up because of Superman and Lois, you know? She's blown up because of obsession. Like, obsession is... Oh, they wasted both the roles there. Like, obsession is why she was cast as Rogue. It's why Jake Schreier, the director for X-Men, chose her. So that makes sense. You know, I'm sure he didn't watch 4 seasons of Superman and Lois and went, "This is our Rogue." No, it was definitely obsession. God, this Bruce is just getting absolutely destroyed. God, I thought we were doing great. We're not even at the first point yet. All right. Oh. He's aiming that right at us, so we go. Ooh. God, the rogue ult is so hard to take care of. Nice. There's clearly 13 reasons why. Absolutely. Which, the really funny thing is that she was only in 1 season of 13 Reasons Why. She's probably the most successful person now to come out of 13 Reasons Why as well. Because, like, who in that show has gone on to do huge things? Like, Catherine Langford was kind of slightly big for a little bit. Dylan Minnette was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Actually, that might have been before 13 Reasons Why, now that I think about it. He's been in a few things. He was in the new Scream. Or was actually, no, it wasn't the new one, it was one before the new one. But, like, none of them are borderline headlining an upcoming MCU film. Lanterns is in a couple of hours. I'm very excited for Lanterns. Might be the first, other than, like, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which I only got really excited for after it started coming out and I was really enjoying it. I think Lanterns is the first premiere of the year that I've been really excited for. So, like, first episode of a show this year where I'm already really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really good and enjoyable. I can't wait. I hope it's good. If it's not good, then you never heard me say it was going to be great. That was never me who said that. God, man, Dino just won't fucking die. That's my bad. I should not chase him in there, but I thought he could die. Actually, the third Raimi film was okay at first, but I sat down to watch from beginning to end. The Cross for Clear's Day. They re-released all the Spider-Man films here in late 2024. So I got to go and watch that in the cinema again. And Spider-Man 3 actually might have been the first superhero film I saw in cinemas now I think about it. But I got to go see it again. And it's such a fun film. And it's like cheesy, goofy in a way that really works. But like, I also understand completely why people hate that film. Like, I think, yeah, it's... Sometimes Tobey Maguire's just doing shit. And you don't know why he's really doing it or saying it. Oh my god, my team are all scattered. What are they doing? Right, Daredevil, go then. Do your ult. We all know Catherine Langford could reprise her role as Megan Stark from the deleted scene. I rewatched Endgame the other day, and I was thinking that exact thing. I was like, remember when they cast Catelyn Langford to be Tony Stark's daughter for a scene that didn't even make it into the final cut of Endgame? Like, they were for sure planning on doing some sort of like Disney Plus series or some sort of probably like. I could have seen her even being in like Ironheart or something to be like, you're using my father's technology, what are you doing, or something like that, you know. Oh, we lost, cool. I should use my own. What was I thinking? But the only reason they had Catelyn Langford playing older Megan Stark was for sure because or Morgan Stark was for sure because they had a plan to do some with her later on.
Freedom's an idea that will never die.
Actually, I'm really curious if she's gonna make a cameo. Seems like a fake plot of Doomsday about these heroes, children. It would kind of make sense you would go after the one he shares a face with. Yeah, for sure. I think she kind of. I mean, I personally don't think she's going to be in Doomsday. Like, I don't think Pepper Potts is in Doomsday. I don't think she's in Doomsday. But it would make sense for both of them to be. I don't know. I feel like I know Marvel has the kind of money they can get anybody involved. But Gwyneth Paltrow has not been involved in a Marvel movie since Endgame. And since Endgame, she's done loads of reviews where she's like, I completely forgot I was in this one. I didn't really care for these at all. I could see it just being like a paycheck, but I could also see her just being like, I don't really care to be in another one of these films. I don't really care for standing in front of a green screen for 18 hours for one scene while you guys have to wait to get everybody here. You wrote a very out of character in the film, which specifically template as Spider-Man is viewed. God damn it, Daredevil. Just die. Ooh. Alright, I saved my healer. I would appreciate if they saved me. Thank you. I was like, this dino is fucking me up. I did not take him off of you so that you could ignore me. Nice. That hook should not have dove in there with the health he had. That was really stupid of him. I've also KO'd him like 5 times. I am interested to see like what of the smaller characters are going to be in Doomsday. Like, we know Cassie Lang is in it, just based off of the brief scene of her and Scott in the trailer. We know Kamala, Miss Marvel, is likely in it. Like, is Kate Bishop gonna be in it? Is Ironheart gonna be in it? Riri Williams. Is America Chavez gonna be in it? Like, who's gonna be in it, you know? Like, of all these smaller characters from over the last few years. It's very interesting, like, every supporting character in Tony's on. Rhodey as well, Happy as well. Yes, exactly. I think Secret Invasion absolutely fucked any plans to do more with Rhodey, though. You know? Like, how do they explain the fact that now like, Rhodey in Endgame was not him? Or Rhodey in Infinity War was not him? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I'm not against the idea of revealing that a character for a long time has been not who they said they were. I actually think that that's a really cool thing for a project to do. The only problem is, Marvel did nothing with it, and they probably now never will. And it came in one of the worstly written projects in the MCU. I think post-grad scene is the Young Avengers. Could be. I just like, we don't even have confirmation if like Monica or Maria Rambeau or Captain Marvel are in it. Like, Nick Fury should have a scene, you know? He's still around. He was in the Marvels. But he likely won't. Oh, he tried to get away. He tried to jump away. Oh, poor guy. Alright, this is going to be kind of close. We might be able to win this if we play this right. Oh no! I didn't have my F. I was trying to jump out of that. I should have pressed C actually. C could have got me out of that. I've never tried that. I do wonder what the plan with the Young Avengers is, because oh man, that Bruce again. Once more is getting fucked up. Because it's not that I don't think they're a good idea and I don't think you can make them work, but I feel like doing them in Secret Invasion, or Secret Wars, sorry, is the worst time to do them. Like, you shouldn't be, like, this is, like, late now. It was not that it's late, but it's, like, it's the worst time to do them because you're in such a big thing. You're already gonna have so many other characters that likely aren't destroyed when the incursion happens. Like, I don't know. I don't know how interested a general audience is going to be at watching a film focused around the kids and the sidekicks of the main heroes, you know? Because it'll be such a change from Endgame, when Endgame came out and was focused around the original six. That's so different. You know, like, yeah, you'd want to see the other characters show up, but you don't mind as much because you're watching just the original six together again. But having, like, the Young Avengers now be your original six in Secret Wars just seems a little crazy. I feel like the MCU was trying to do too many things at once. At one point, they're doing Young Avengers and then Thunderbolts along with Midnight Suns while trying to establish other elements. No, they were, for sure. Which I think was, I think they admitted it during Phase 4 or 5, that, like, half the projects were setting up the multiverse. Half the projects were setting up supernatural stuff. The other half was setting up the street level stuff. Like, they wanted there to be all these different sides of Marvel happening concurrently, but unfortunately on screen you can't really do that. Like, you still need to be able to digest this stuff, and you can't really digest it when they're all happening at once. What about the thing? I fucking hate the thing. I hate Ben Grimm. You heard it here first. Alright, this is probably the last game. I'm been streaming for about an hour 15. So I'll play one more. Hopefully it's a win. And then that'll be it. There's going to be more than just them. I think it's probably like maybe 20% of the movie with everyone else in Doom World. I agree with that as well. Like, I assume Tom Holland's Spider-Man is there. You probably have Toby and Hugh playing Spider-Man and Wolverine there as well. Like, there's probably a lot. Star-Lord too. I am curious how much of the Guardians are going to be there, you know? Because most of the Guardians are still alive. You have all the originals who went off their own way at the end of 3, like Gamora, Mantis, Peter. But then you also have, like, the new lineup that they had at the end of 3 with Rocket, Groot, Adam Warlock, all those sort of characters. Like, I don't know if they're going to bring them in, but I feel like you kind of have to. You know, you've got the Guardians of the Galaxy out there in the galaxy fighting, saving people, stuff like that. They probably should be involved in an event like this, even if it's not the lineup that a lot of people remember. I still think they should probably be involved. You know, like Drax is still part of the new lineup as well, right? I need to rewatch Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm blanking slightly on what happened there by the end. I know Peter comes back to Earth to find his grandfather. Vision as well. I'm curious if how Vision Quest ends. Like, is it going to end with Vision still out there, or will it end with, like, Vision done? Like, he's not around anymore. And then you've also got, like, the Vision and Wanda children. And they're probably going to tie into the Young Avengers. That means you probably should have Wanda there, right? Like, there's literally, like, 150 characters from the MCU that should be involved in the next 2 films. But at least half of them absolutely aren't going to be. Might see all kinds of other characters we've never seen before. There are definitely going to be random versions of everyone, including the 616 card. This is it as well. We're going to see variants of characters that we know too. Like not from... Like, not, you know, variants like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man meets Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but I mean, like, variants where, like, we're probably going to see different versions of Tom Holland's Spider-Man or different versions of Chris Evans' Captain America. It's just Rocket and Groot. Why did I think Drax was with them at the end? Interesting. I'm trying to remember what happened to Drax now. Because I know Mantis went off on her own. Did Drax just stay at nowhere? Oh my god, why could I not get out of that? That's crazy. Well, I'm sure he's going to be a big part of Secret Invasion, which is interesting if true. Yeah, I mean, I could see that, you know, with all the supernatural elements and WandaVision being the first project to crack open the multiverse properly. Well, not that project specifically, but Wanda's events in that series being why the multiverse got cracked open in Doctor Strange 2. You know, like, WandaVision was the domino default that led to things like Doctor Strange and No Way Home. That Spider-Man is trying to zip people off. Help the lost children? Right, okay, that makes sense. I do vaguely remember that now. I do love that film. It's like in my top 3 MCU films post Endgame, with the other 2 being Thunderbolts and Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now we're going top 5. I'd probably put Doctor Strange 2 in there, along with maybe Deadpool and Wolverine. I know a lot of people really don't like Deadpool and Wolverine, and I get it. It can be an annoying film, but I do think it's really fun and really enjoyable. They pull out a penny, really? Also playing terribly compared to the rest of my team. Like, I'm just kind of jumping around. Back and forth, I like Guardians or Wakanda Forever more. I do like Wakanda Forever, too. I think a lot of Wakanda Forever is genuinely beautiful and really well made and really good. But I also think there's a lot of Wakanda Forever that is just unfortunately a very messy film. I wish it wasn't. But some of it is, you're like, ooh, this is good, but there's like a messiness to it here. Where my team? Are they back yet? They are. The multiverse has taken quite a dip from various events that occurred both from the Fox universe and the MCU. Really, there is. No, I know there's not one particular destruction, but in terms of the story, WandaVision was like the dip that led this all to start happening from a viewer standpoint, you know? Like, nobody's going to watch the X-Men films and be like, oh, they planned for this to be where the multiverse stuff starts, but WandaVision was made and written with the intent of it being the beginning of the multiverse stuff, because you also had, like, Evan Peters coming in to play Ralph Boner, the lovely Quicksilver variant. Yeah, I do remember the third act being my least favorite part of the film by a lot, which unfortunately was also my least favorite part of the first Black Panther film. God, Angela. Where are you going? Damn it. I want to get her before she got that. Alright, maybe we'll lock in. There we go. Fucking Angela, man. Such an annoying character. Oh, I wanted that. That killed me. I was going for that. I thought I could get that. Yeah, I'm playing terribly. Compared to the last few games where I was playing really well, this one is not going too good. I do think this is a problem with Marvel Rivals though. I really enjoy it for about 3 or 4 games, and then by game 5, I'm losing my motivation. I've had enough. It's so overstimulating that it genuinely drains you. Fucking hell, man. Was that rocket killed me? Oh, 4-4. Like, that is horrific. Alright, alright. 30 seconds to salvage it. We can do this. Almost on my old zone. I always need to know your thoughts on Frozen Tree and Zootopia Tree. I also definitely know you're excited for the Kingdom Hearts series, all things that you're known to love. Yeah, Darren, those are actually my top 3 favorite franchises. I'm really excited to see all of those films. I've not yet seen Frozen 2. I've not yet seen Zootopia 2. Never played a Kingdom Hearts game. Never will. Don't know if I'll see Frozen 2 or Zootopia 2. I did like the first Zootopia though. I do remember liking it. I was whatever about what you call it, about Frozen 1, but I know that I was not the target audience for that, so it didn't really bother me. Yeah, horrific. We lost. I want to watch almost every Marvel show I've not seen before Doomsday, since it is a great event, bringing together different elements from each storyline. So what Marvel shows have you not seen? And if I've seen them, I'll let you know if they're worth it or not. Cloak and Dagger, Captain America 4, along with a lot of recent Marvel projects. Cloak and Dagger was really good. I thought both seasons of that were really enjoyable. Is that guy locking in Captain America as like a fuck you to me? That's fair enough. That's valid. I hope he plays worse than I played.
We are hope and fear.
He's not actually playing Captain America. I think he was just doing that as like a fuck you. Captain America 4 was... Yeah, he's not playing Cap. Captain America 4 was fine. Yes, I did. I actually pulled that up before the stream started because I was going to talk about it and I completely forgot to. Let me get it to load. Where was it? Yeah, so X-Men, X-Men 2, Captain America the First Avenger, The Avengers, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Loki, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man No Way Home, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Captain America Brave New World, Deadpool and Wolverine, Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, Thunderbolts, and the Fantastic Four First Steps. That's a interest. I mean, not a lot of those projects are surprising that they're on that list. I think it does say, you know, what's going to be important and what isn't going to be important. Hellstrom was not worth it. Hellstrom's also not MCU. It was meant to be MCU, and then they backtracked heavily on that once the thing came out. Poetry films are solid enough. I like them. Deadpool 3 is really good. Deadpool Wolverine is really good. Legion is one of the best Marvel TV series of all time, in my opinion. It's really good. Rip the Marvels. Yeah, the fact that the Marvels isn't mentioned in there says bad things about how important that is, considering that should be extremely important and should have been one of the main projects to watch. I understand that this list is probably more so like a, if you only have time for 15 Marvel projects, make sure these are the ones you watch sort of thing. But you know, if the Marvels was important, it'd be on that list. So I think that says all we need to know about those characters. I don't know the last time I didn't see a Marvel. Alright, Thor, you gonna fuck me by, run away from me. Okay. I don't know the last time I didn't see one like an MCU project on opening weekend. Or like for when it's a TV show on like within the first 3 or 4 days of when it came out. Alright, cool. I don't, yeah, we just get scattered like crazy. There's no way to get out of that. Alright, now Wonder Man. Ironheart was okay. Didn't love it, but thought it was pretty okay. And Wonder Man was really good. It's funny because it's arguably the only major movie to set up Doomsday, lol. No, it is. It absolutely is. Like, that film includes, the post-credit scene includes the original, one of the original X-Men, you know, as well as the theme. That should have been like a direct lead into Doomsday. And now, like, we thought that post-credit scene was going to be like a huge deal, and now it's unfortunately going to be one of the those post-credit scenes people probably look back on and go, well, this didn't actually mean a whole lot, did it? Yeah, that might be it. We might be cooked. Gifted. Yeah, so the Gifted was like a directly tied into like the X-Men film universe. There is no way in a million years that they would address Hellstrom or reference Hellstrom in Doomsday or Secret Wars. I will say this now on a stream that nobody is watching. I will stream myself drinking a full bottle of vodka in one go if Hellstrom is referenced in Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars. There's just no way. That film was watched by about 2 people and it was cancelled before it even came out. And it wasn't even advertised as a Marvel series. So there's no way. There's no way. The Gifted, I know Darren's a big The Gifted fan. But anyway, that last game was a horrible one to end on. But we've played for a while, played for about an hour and a half. We had a good few wins. We're back in Diamond again. Got kicked out of it. You think The Gifted is top 5 live action Marvel shows? So you think The Gifted would top Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daredevil, Legion, Loki? I don't know what other Marvel live action show it's like on that power. Jessica Jones season 1. You think The Gifted is better than all those? Fair enough. I respect it. Maybe I need to rewatch The Gifted because I haven't seen it since it came out. I do remember some of it was cool though. But anyway, thank you everybody for hanging out. Thank you Darren and Deathstroke for talking a lot in the stream and helping me have topics to talk about. That was really good because I hate talking to myself. I hope you guys have a fantastic Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah. Hey Keane. Falcon Winter Soldier is also up there. I know Darren isn't as crazy about Falcon and Winter Soldier as most people. No one watched Legion. Everybody watched Legion. It went on for 3 seasons and it was on FX. It was a big deal. Everybody watched it. Unless you were saying about the Hellstrom thing. Nobody watched Hellstrom. Alright. That's that done. Thank you everybody for hanging out. And I hope everybody has a great night. And bye. Oh.